and then more will be revealed. So, hello again, I'm Reverend Vaughn Amari. So glad to, and Annette is here. Annette is here for Stephanie. So welcome to Northern Light Spiritual Center. We are a community of people dedicated to using spiritual and practical principles to create lives we want to live. And Northern Light Spiritual Center offers practical and spiritual tools to make positive changes in our lives. Our promise: to reveal, inspire, uplift, celebrate, and magnify your greatness. We acknowledge our presence here on the traditional and unceded lands and waters of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and coastal Salish peoples. These people are still here, and we join with them in how they continue to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. We seek to resist the erasure of Indigenous histories as we work towards honoring and inviting the truth. We also acknowledge that so much of what we know in this country today, including its culture, economic growth, and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their ascendants who suffered the horrors of transatlantic trafficking of their people, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We also name the Asian and Chicano people who toiled with little or no recognition. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifice. And we acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and the resulting impacts that can still be felt and witnessed today. For our opening song, please join me if you care to, or be sung to if you prefer that, a song called In This Very Room by Ron and Carol Harris. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's a beautiful, sunny, chilly day outside, but the sun's out, shining bright. And I just invite us to get comfortable as you can get. Sometimes we can't get 100% comfortable, but you know there's that sweet spot where we can just allow our body to relax and to be. And in that, I just invite us to take in a few nice, deep, cleansing breaths that come in and go down and expand your diaphragm. And then when you release, it pushes out everything you don't need. We take in the oxygen and we release the carbon dioxide. And do that again. Bring in the oxygen. And release. One more time. Oxygen in. Unneeded things out. And as we know, we need the oxygen, and the trees and the plants need the carbon dioxide. So it's a reciprocal universe. And in that reciprocal universe, I invite us today to ponder on some things that maybe in your life that you don't believe should be there anymore. They've served their purpose. They've done their thing, but they still seem to be hanging on. So I just invite us to, like one by one, if whatever comes up, and just release it. Like you release that breath. Just release and say, I release, I let go. For it's serving no purpose anymore. So for a few minutes, just contemplate and allow those things to appear. And don't judge, no judging required. It's just, if it no longer serves, let it go. Dismiss it. Say, you serve me well, but I no longer need you. And by releasing these things that no longer serve, you're making space, you're opening up for new things to appear. I release, I let go. Release, and I let go. And just know that anytime something comes to mind or confronts you that is no longer needed in your life, you can just take a moment and say, thank you, but I release you and I let you go. I release. I let go. And I open to more good in my life. And so, when you feel comfortable, I invite you to maybe wiggle your toes and fingers a little bit. And allow yourself to come back to the room refreshed, released, and revitalized. And open your eyes. And so it is.
So it is.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. My name is Stephanie Scranton, and I am the practitioner here that now has her mask stuck in her earring.
Amen.
Okay, there we go. Yep. Yes. So, little different format. I like to do this affirmation, and it's a call and a response kind of affirmation. And so I'll say a line, and then you say it back. And part of this is that I want you to really feel what it is that you're saying, embrace what it is that you're saying, and not just say it, just because I asked you to say it.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, if you'd like to stand up, that would be really wonderful. Okay, so ready. God is the only power in my life.
God is the only power in my life.
Nothing from without
Nothing from without
can touch the perfect life
can touch the perfect life
of God within me.
of God within me.
No past experience
No past experience
has power over me.
has power over me.
So I want you to think, what are those experiences that you've had in the past that you're still letting have power over you? And say to it, no past experiences
No past experiences
has power over me.
has power over me.
I'm a perfect child of God,
I'm a perfect child of God,
and nothing that anyone has ever done or said
and nothing that anyone has ever done or said
can interfere with my divine inheritance.
can interfere with my divine inheritance.
The power of God
The power of God
is greater than any circumstance in my life.
is greater than any circumstance in my life.
The strength of God
The strength of God
is mine to use.
is mine to use.
Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy,
Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy,
I discover that all that I need
I discover that all that I need
is within me now.
is within me now.
As I forgive the past,
As I forgive the past,
and I do forgive the past,
and I do forgive the past,
I find that I have nothing to be sorry for
I find that I have nothing to be sorry for,
and nothing to run away from.
and nothing to run away from.
Casting off the old me,
Casting off the old me,
I discover my true self.
I discover my true self.
I take dominion in my life.
I take dominion in my
And
life.
let's say that again, pointing to ourselves. I take dominion in my life. Old habits have no power over me.
Old habits have no power over me.
Conditions have no power over me.
Conditions have no power over me.
And my favorite, personalities have no power over me.
Personalities have no power over me.
And pointing to ourselves again, I take dominion.
I take dominion.
I am whole.
I am whole.
I am free.
I am free.
I am complete.
I am complete.
Now and forevermore.
Now and forevermore.
And so it is.
And so it
And
is.
anchor it with a yes.
Yes.
Woo, thanks.
So we have a declaration that you'll see on the you'll see up there, and that for people on Zoom should see it too. So this is an opportunity. I'll say it once, and then please, you can start joining in with me if you want, but we're going to do it a total of 3 times. So we are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. We are an expanding and loving community working in a field of infinite potential. And finally, we are an expanding and loving community
working in a field of infinite potential.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Our reading for today, I'm not sure where it comes from.
Came from the outline.
It came from the ethers, you know? Just came from the- And it's called They Let Go by Reverend Sapphire Rose. They let go. Without a thought or a word, they let go. Oof. They let go of all they fear. They let go of the judgments. They let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around their head. I'd like to say inside their head too. They let go of the committee of indecision within them. They let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. They just let go. They didn't ask anyone for advice. They didn't read a book on how to let go. They didn't search the scriptures. They just let go. They let go of all the memories that held them back. They let go of all the anxiety that kept them from moving forward. They let go of the planning and of the calculations about how to do it just right. They didn't promise to let go. They didn't journal about it. They didn't write a projected date in their day timer. They made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. They didn't check the weather report or read their daily horoscope. They just let go. They didn't analyze whether they should let go. They didn't call their friends or discuss the matter. They didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. They didn't call the prayer line. They didn't utter one word. They just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked them or praised them. No one noticed a thing, like a leaf falling from a tree. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, they let it be. They let it all be. A small smile came over their face. A light breeze blew through them. And the sun and the moon shone forevermore. And so it is.
So it is.
So this is the final week of this month's chant, which is, there's more to me than meets the eye, sands on shores, endless stars in the sky, infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in me. Do that twice, and then go to divinity, there's more to you, and then switch it over to there's more to us, and then come back to there's more to me, and hopefully by the final time we've sung there's more to me, we'll really be at one with that sense of there's more to me. There's more to me than meets the eye, sands on shores, endless stars in the sky, infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in me. There's more to me than meets the eye, sands on shores, endless stars in the sky, infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in me. Now the you, there's more to you than meets the eye, sands on shores, endless stars in the sky, infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in you. And we do that again. There's more to you than meets the eye. Sands on shores, endless stars in the sky. Infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in you. Now we switch it over to us. There's more to us than meets the eye. Sands on shores, endless stars in the sky. Infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in us. And we do that again. There's more to us than meets the eye. Sands on shores, endless stars in the sky. Infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in us. Now back to me. There's more to me than meets the eye. Sands on shores, endless stars in the sky. Infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in me. And last time. There's more to me than meets the eye. Sands on shores, endless stars in the sky. Infinity lives inside, divinity abiding in me. Divinity abiding in me. Divinity abiding in me. Thank you.
This is the first.
So I'm passing around the lyrics to the song. They'll be up on the screen, but you also have the lyrics to take home if you choose to. It's small. Okay. Glad you have the paper.
Well, now you have the lyrics.
Okay.
Let go and let God.
So guess what we're talking about today? Yeah, that was Ricky Byers, for those of you who might be familiar with her. And the name of the song, what do we think the name of the song is? You got it right on your paper. Let go, let God. I feel like letting go. Okay. So another way of looking at letting go is the S word. And do we know what the S word is? Surrender. Ooh. Now, we're going to do a crash course in surrender this morning. Okay? A crash course, because you're going to be experts by the time you get out of here. And you're going to be able to go out and practice this. Okay? You with me? Yeah. Okay. So we first want to start out understanding and defining what surrender is. So the literal meaning of surrender is to stop fighting. To stop fighting. Now, you know, in the war kind of sense, that's just giving up, right? But we're talking about in the spiritual sense of stop fighting, and you stop fighting yourself, stop fighting the universe, stop fighting the flow, stop fighting and stop pushing against your highest and best. There is a little kind of formula that I found that defines surrender. It says a complete acceptance of what is, plus faith that all is well. Now here's the part I want you to get. Even without your input. Okay? So it doesn't need your input. Surrender means to stop fighting without you. Now, this is what surrender is not. It is not failure or defeat. So when you surrender, when we're talking about in a spiritual sense, it's not about I did something wrong and now it's all over. It's not about punishment. My vision, my interpretation, my knowingness of what God is, for me, is a loving God. It's that God that just is just kissing me and loving me and putting my pictures on the wall, on the refrigerator. It's that God that is saying, even when you are at your craziest, Stephanie Scranton, I'm still loving up on you. So God, to me, is not about punishing. You have to figure out what that definition is for you. And hopefully it's not one of punishment. Surrender is not a state that we can will ourselves into. You either do it or you don't. You can't will it You have to let it. You have to be it. Surrender is not giving up. So when we're surrendering, we're not just saying, okay, I'm just not doing it. And it feels different. I've had situations where, there have been things in my life that I've wanted, and I haven't gotten them. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just not going to want that anymore. That's giving up. Surrender would look like, you know what, I may not have it now, but it's right here and it's waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to experience it when it's the right time. Okay? So that's different. It feels different. Surrender is not a decision to be comfortable with what is. It doesn't mean you just fall into what the conditions are right now. Because you can get comfortable. Some of us, we set up apartment buildings and buy houses and get all up in the muck and guck of it. And we decide this is where we're going to hang out. Don't. Because it's uneasy, it's icky. It's like that. You've heard the dead elephant in the room. And everybody's like, ooh, what's that new fragrance, that air freshener you have? It just smells so good. Not dealing with what is going on. So that's not what surrender is. Surrender is not an ending. It's actually a beginning of something fabulous and wonderful. And surrender also is not about inaction. So when you're in surrender, you're being guided. At some point, if you truly have surrendered, you will be guided to take some action. And you're supposed to do it. Okay. So what are we surrendering to? We are surrendering to that inner wisdom, that God within, that part of you that is whole, perfect, and complete, and knows that it's whole, perfect, and complete. You are surrendering to that which is within you that wants the highest and best for you, that loves you unconditionally. There's that part in you that is like accepting of you regardless. That's what we're surrendering to. That part that loves you no matter what. What can we surrender? What do you think we can surrender? This is actually a question.
Anything.
Thank you. Anything and everything. You don't have to hold on to anything. You can let it all go. Reverend Michael took us through the meditation this morning, and I'm sure you came up with some wonderful things to let go of. And hopefully you're letting go of them. You don't have to hold on to any of it. None of it. Now, what are some benefits of surrender? Why do we even want to do it? Who cares? One of them is you experience inner peace. Ooh, that feels good, right? It's a release from anxiety. It's a release from stress. It's just a release. So you get this peace that comes over you. Imagine yourself floating and just how good it feels when you just let go. Can everybody feel it? You're just floating along and everything is well. All is well. It opens you up to new opportunities. Sometimes we have issues, we have challenges, we have questions, right? We're all human. And one or two options may come up that can satisfy whatever problem is we're dealing with. But when you surrender, you are opening yourself up to the plethora, and I do love that word, so you might hear more than just that. Plethora of experiences, of opportunities. I don't know if you saw the movie What the Bleep. It's an old movie. And for some of you, it was way before you were born. But in there's a scene where there are all these basketballs bouncing. And what those basketballs were symbolizing are the possibilities. And they're infinite. And there's a whole bunch of them. And what happens is when you surrender, it opens up to all of those. And then what happens is when you focus in, then all the other go away. And so where are you focusing? Are you focusing on the surrender? And then the outcomes will be revealed. Surrender also just increases you trusting your intuition. Reverend Pamela talked about that still small voice a few weeks ago, which we can call intuition, whatever you want to call it. It's there. And sometimes we're not always sure of, is that my intuition or is that me? Is that my ego? What is it? Well, as you surrender and things come to you and you take action, you now say, oh, yeah, that's what that is. And then you recognize it the next time. And you're not having to question. Like in Reverend Michael's reading, it's like you don't have to go ask your neighbor. You don't have to go call your mom up. You don't have to go to work and ask your coworkers. You just know. That's the intuition. Surrender also creates a deeper connection with self. Who doesn't want to be more connected with themselves? It's connecting and knowing who you are, not who someone else is. You're not up in somebody else's business because that's not yours. Your business, and let me just tell you, your business is a full-time job.
Amen.
And that means you don't have time to get all caught up in what somebody else is doing or not doing. I don't know why they're doing that. Okay, you know. Okay, so a deeper connection with self. Surrender also cultivates gratitude. We talked about gratitude last week. And as we allow ourselves surrender and as things come to us, we have more and more things to be grateful for. Because we know we're not doing this journey alone. We have that within us that's doing the work if you let it. It's giving you the instruction guide. You know, you get the manual, and it's not the kind that you get at IKEA. Because you know those can be a little complicated. We're talking about the easy version. You know what do they say? Those books for dummies? I don't like the word, but but it's that easy where you just do 1, you do 2, and then you do 3. That's how God will sometimes give it to us if we're listening. And so it's time to be grateful for it. Surrender also allows you to manifest your desires faster. Anybody have any desires they want manifested? Yes. Well, when you surrender, you let it go. Turn it over to God. One of the affirmations that I like to say is, I got it from Florence Scofield Shinn, and she wrote a book on the game of life and how to play it. And she wrote this book way back in the 1920s.
Whoa.
Okay, so it's an old book. I wasn't around then, but it's still pertinent to today. And she says, and in it, and I kind of changed one of the words, but you can do whatever you want. I cast this burden to, she says, the Christ within, but you could say the God within, the Spirit within, whatever within, and I go free. So I cast this burden to the God within, and I go free. Oh, free? You mean I can just go out and just be? Yes. You don't have to hold on to the burden. Any of you guys ever hold on to burdens? Okay, thank you. When you hold on, aren't they heavy? They just weigh you down. And how many of you hold on to other people's burdens? Okay, so now you're really weighed down, and all you can do is go home and go to bed because you're so tired. Taking on stuff that if you had turned it over, if you had surrendered, you'd have been out skipping rope. Surrender also expands creativity. It's a way of you're opening to those infinite possibilities. I remember I took this art class, and one of the assignments that we were given was to create a non-functional accessory that was at least 6 inches long and protruded 3 inches out from the body. Now I'm a fashion designer, if you didn't know, and I'm like, a non-functional. How does she expect me to do that? And why would I want to do that? Because, it needs to be functional, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I let that all go. And then at some point, I'm like, you know what? You need to let that go. Because I've always been a good student, so I knew I was going to do the homework. I knew I was going to do the project. But I had to get all that stuff out of my head. Well, as I let it go, ideas start coming. And the creative juices start flowing. And it started feeling real good. And the piece actually, kind of created itself. You ever had that happen? Where, you start with something, and it's like it takes on a life of its own. But it only comes when you just let it go. And this piece that I created is actually one of my favorite pieces that I've ever created. And I was just amazed. But it was allowing God to work through me to create it. I would love to take all the credit, and at times I did. But I also know that, it was God. It was God through me, that inner dwelling presence. Another reason, another benefit for surrender is the road to freedom. And I mean true freedom. That freedom where you can just be, and just live the life that you were placed here to live. Who doesn't want to be free? Now I want to talk about the song, because I pointed out a few lines, because Ricky, she had some things to say, and some things that we needed to hear. Well, at least I needed to hear. One line I want to talk about is, if I can let go, the darkness will fade. Ooh. You ever been, in a dark night of the soul where everything just seems so heavy and dark, and you don't know how you're going to get through it? But she's telling you right here, if you let go, it's going to fade. And just be with that. Another line is, I've got a sweet invitation, a mandate of ecstasy. Ooh. So I decided, I said, let me look up some of these words here, because they're kind of big. So I looked up mandate. And mandate means to command. Then I looked up ecstasy, because I do love that word. And I know my sister girl Annette knows I love that word. Ecstasy means rapturous delight. Ooh. Then I decided to look up rapturous. And rapturous means full of. So this is an invitation, a command that is full of delight. Okay, now who doesn't want to have a situation where it's full of delight? That's a good place to be. That's where I want to be, but you only get that. How? by letting go. Another line is, I am the light within you. It's time to be free. So what that's talking about is it's within you. Reverend Michael has on his email, it's an inside job. You still have that on there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's an inside job. This is not something that you can go to the library and check out a book and then it happens. It's an inside job. But she's saying the light's within you. So you don't have to go and ask folks about it. In the reading, she's like, I just let go. I didn't go, I didn't do a spiritual mind treatment, which is great because sometimes you got to do that to get there. Didn't read another book, didn't take another class. Because how many of you feel like you got to take another class in order to do what you need to do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when I read that one book, when I hear that one other lecture, then it'll be time. Another line, heaven's at hand right now. Well, we in this philosophy don't believe that heaven is a place. We don't believe heaven's up there and hell's down there. And if you do, that's fine. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about heaven being within you. Heaven being that place that is like, ooh, sookie now. This is the place I'm going to hang out in. Okay, it feels good. Then she says new life is awaiting. So that means wherever you are, however low you are, or however low you're feeling, you don't have to be there. Because there's a whole new life awaiting for you. And it's going to be good. Real good. Because that's all God knows how to do. Then she goes on to say, don't hold on any longer. Okay? I mean, that's simple. Just let it go. Another line, I won't abandon my vision. It's time to release. Now, everyone has a vision. Everyone has a purpose in life. And this is something that is for you to do. And only you can do it. And she's saying, I'm not going to abandon it. Even in the darkest time, because I know that the darkness is fading. I know that if I surrender, because this vision wasn't just thought of one day, it is yours. It is yours. God installed it. And so it's your purpose. And you know the thing about it? Is that means that you can accomplish it. So don't abandon it. Then she goes on to say, the power of God is guiding me. Surrender to what I've got to be. So again, God's guiding. I'm going to listen. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to follow. And then the last two lines. With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are bountiful. It didn't say some. It didn't say maybe. It didn't say tomorrow. It didn't say hopefully. It said all. But what do you have to do? You got to let go. So why don't we surrender? Okay. Hello. Why don't we surrender? Well, I'm going to start by talking about the triplets. And the triplets are fear, worry, and doubt.
Oh my goodness.
Okay? And they like to hang out together. And what I know is that doubt and worry always bring fear along.
Come on.
Because that's the root. The fear is right there. Yeah, baby. But someone wrote a book a few years back. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Come on.
Okay? So, meaning that fear doesn't have to stop you. You got to go through it. However, but do it anyway. Do not let fear be the reason why you don't do what you got to do. Then there's that doubt. And what is doubt? I don't think it's going to happen. Well, guess what? What you focus on grows. So yeah, you get to be right. It's not happening. Because that's where your focus is. You haven't let it go. And then there's worry. I thought about it. I said, okay, what are benefits of worry? I can only come up with one. And the only benefit I could come up with was that it shows you where you need to work on. Other than that, I don't know. If you come up with something, let me know. But I can't think of any situation where worry has made it better. Anyone? Good. I'm glad because I'm like, ooh, I'm scared. Okay. Another reason why we don't surrender, and this is the biggie, is control. Any people out there little control freaks? Uh-huh. Nope. You're the only one that can do it. And you know how to do it. And no one else can do it. And if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. It's amazing that the world continues to function. Because you know you're not there doing everything. Control. The interesting thing about when you are in the control mode, you are actually more out of control than in it. And think about it. Yes. Another reason why we don't surrender is because we're attached to the outcome. It needs to look this way. And only this way. I wanted pink. I got purple. No. I want pink. We got to detach. Because remember those basketballs bouncing? There's these infinite possibilities. And when you focus on pink, and pink is not for your highest and best, you may get pink, but it won't be the highest and best for you. I think about I had wanted to work for Nordstrom for a long, long time. Long time. Even when I wasn't living up here, I was like, ooh, I would always like to work for Nordstrom. And I think the universe was like, okay, you know what? We're just going to let her. She's wore us down. And we're going to let her work at Nordstrom. I was miserable. Almost from day one. But the universe was like, yeah, but we got a plan. We got something in store for her. It only let me be there for 6 months. Long enough so it doesn't look too bad on your resume. But short enough so I didn't really lose my mind. And it was interesting because I got laid off the same week that my father passed away. A blessing. Because my mind was not on Nordstrom. And so I could focus my energies where I needed to focus. So letting go of the outcome. Another reason we don't surrender is because sometimes it doesn't feel too good. Sometimes it's like, ooh, it's kind of painful. And I don't want to experience that pain. But of course, it's all in your head about if it's painful or not. And I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking about emotional pain. And so we don't do it. There was a time in my life that I wasn't making the best decision around what kind of men I was going to be involved with. And so I was just making bad decision after bad decision when it came to men. And so, I'm like, Spirit, okay, I have to do something different, but I don't know how to do it. And so I did let go. And where I was guided to was, you need to go to therapy. Okay, I will go to therapy. And so I listened, I took action, and I went to therapy. Well, so at some point, I decided, you know what? I'm getting rid of all these men. I'm letting them all go. Well, it wasn't a whole lot. It was just 2. Okay. But anyway, I was going to let them go. And so my thought was, ooh, when I let them go, I'm going to feel real good. This is going to be good. So I did. I let them go. And I think I did it for maybe the same day.
Oh.
I did not feel good. In fact, I felt a little lost. But the thing I knew how bad I felt when I was in the midst of it. And I didn't know what was going to happen going forward, because that's another thing. There's that fear of the unknown. And so not wanting to go there, but I said, I know it has to be better than what I just left. And so I'm going to keep on going. And I have to say that was like the best decision I ever made. Because life got better. It got a lot better, and I got a little smarter around, who I was going to invite into my life. And I'm sure there are a lot of other reasons why we don't surrender, but those are some of the ones I came up with. So the question might be, well, how do I surrender then? It sounds good. You told me why I'm doing it, the benefits of it. But how? How do I do it? Well, we know it's an inside job. And sometimes it's as easy as saying, okay, I'm just going to let it go. And then it's done. But sometimes it might take a little more cultivating. And so another way is to trust and let go of the control. Who are we trusting? I know, Reverend Michael breathing. Trust and let go of the control. Now, I have something to tell you. God does not need you to micromanage. Okay? God does not need that. Who likes to be micromanaged in this room? Raise your hand. You like to be micromanaged? Okay, we got one person. Anybody in Zoom world like to be micromanaged? Okay. God doesn't need you to micromanage. God knows how to do what God needs to do. You do what you need to do and keep your business with yourself and not go out and let God, God, I wanted it in pink. I just want to make sure you're clear that this is what I want. God doesn't need you doing that. Yeah, okay, Miss No. Yeah, God doesn't need that. Because God input the whole idea into you anyway. So why does it need to know what it is that it needs to do? Okay, now when you think about it, kind of cuckoo. Another way is to cultivate faith. Cultivate faith. Meaning to nurture it and grow it. Okay? Grow faith. Because when you do that and you know that God has you, then you can let go. So I know, because there have been times in my life where it's like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But what I know is that God didn't bring me this far to drop me. And so I am trusting that it's going to work out. And it's none of my business how. The how is none of your business. Just let go. Another is, we've talked about this, is to let go of worry. Yeah, I heard some sighs out there. Yes, to let it go. It only creates wrinkles.
Stress.
Yes, it's stress. Creates wrinkles. Yeah, a little vanity here, but no. Okay, it doesn't feel good. It creates all kind of stuff. High blood pressure, just all this icky stuff. And guess what? When you worry, remember, what you focus on grows. So what do you get? More things to worry about.
Come on, come on.
And who doesn't want that? Okay. Another is to be comfortable with the not knowing. Talked about this, but it's okay. If you don't know, you don't know, but you will know at some point. And be comfortable with it and enjoy the journey as you go. It's fun. Staying in the moment is another way. When you're in the moment, this moment is perfect. Right here. But oftentimes we're in the future. And then we decide we're going to pull up our micromanaging and saying, well, I don't want this to happen. Okay, well then stop thinking about it. It's that simple. Just let it go. Stop thinking about it and be happy right here and right now. So, we have talked about a lot of things today. You feel like you got your crash course? Okay. You feel like you got enough to go out and handle your business?
Yes.
Now tell us what to do.
How?
Okay? So, what I want you to do, Reverend Michael started us with in the meditation where he had you come up with a lot of things that you wanted to let go of. You may or may not have been able to let them go at that time. But I want you to close your eyes for a moment right now. Yeah. Whew. Just shake off everything. Everybody just close your eyes. And I want you to call to mind one thing that you might need to let go of. It could be some people. It could be some ideas. It could be some thoughts you have around yourself. It could be some weight you want to let go of. It can be whatever it is. Think about it, and when you have come up with your one thing, I'm just asking for one, open your eyes. When you have that one thing. But I'm, okay, thank you. I'm like, oh, I got the hat down. Okay, so you have your one thing. So now I want you to go out. I want you to let go of it. That's your work. That's your life work. It's to let go of it. And then when you've done that one, pick another one up and let that one go. And then keep on going until you just let it all go. And then I want you to celebrate. I want you to celebrate this newfound life that you have. Because it's good and it's just going to get better and better as you continue to let go. So are you willing to play?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. And we have one more song.
Let's roll the dice.
Roll those dice, honey. Come on. Snake eyes. I don't even know what snake eyes
It's just 2 ones.
is. 2 ones, okay.
Oh, we knew what
Sounded
she
good.
meant.
Sounded good.
Right, that sounded good.
Yep. That's all that matters.
Okay, so we got our closing song.
I love it.
It's the whiz.
Oh,
Oh, boy. That's fun. joyfully. Everybody go. If you don't hope that things will let you fall, everybody's glad because the second feeling is there. You see, the house is so joyfully. Just look around, it's such a check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? 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 Woo! Everybody be glad, 'cause the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up into the morning, into the happiness. Our world, like a different world. We be free somehow. It's a world we've got liberty. It's such a change. Nothing so independently. Freedom to see. It's the heart singing so joyfully. Just look around. You want to yourself to check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Everybody happy because the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up into the morning into happiness. Hello world, it's a different way of living now. Brand new world, how we do it, we be free somehow. It's the world that we've got liberty. It's such a change, presidents so independently. Freedom you see, our house is so joyfully. Just look around, you want to yourself to check it out. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day?
Right?
You can feel that.
I know, right?
Yes.
The best part.
Thank you.
Which one? Richard Prac.
That's what I thought. I need to watch that movie. I need to watch it again.
Which one are we talking about here?
I ain't seen it for a little minute.
Yes.
She said, who played the Wiz? And I said, which one?
Feel it.
Langston kid. What?
This one.
Oh.
Ava Lane.
Diana Ross is with it.
Diana Ross is
Let's just keep moving.
who is Diana Ross?
Well, thank you, Stephanie,
And so it is.
for bringing up all these lovely little things, that.
Which one?
All of them. And the one thing I have to share that immediately came to mind, I didn't even have to close my eyes about letting go is the move. I mean, that's the biggest thing that's on my mind, on my heart, and I just I know it'll happen. I know it'll take place. And letting go of what it looks like is so damn hard. It's just, it's just like, because she's right, that bit of control. Yeah. I shouldn't say bit, it's more than a bit.
Massive.
Massive control, because it's got to look like this and that and everything. Like this week, I looked at a place just down the street here, and there's a lot to be done if we would take that place. And immediately, I'm not willing to do an extensive amount of physical work. We did a lot here, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, it wasn't removing walls. It was just new floors, painting, cleaning, all that. But this place would need a couple walls maybe moved or removed. But immediately shrugged it off. But like the real estate guy said, maybe, you never know, the landlord may be willing to do that. There's possibilities. There's all kinds of possibilities. And yet, whatever, like God knows better. And I know that from my life. Let's see, what did you say here? There's a bunch of things I wrote down. I like, the one thing I really loved was, you didn't quite say it like this, but this is the way I interpret it. Don't let fear be the driver.
Oh.
Don't let it drive you. And that happened so many times in my life, that fear, just the overwhelming fear. So it just, it's a great thing to let go and let God. Or just plain let go and let the universe, because, the universe has been around a tad bit longer than I have. I've been around a long time, but the universe has been around a little bit longer. So thank you for your talks are always inspiring and full of energy. You were very energetic, and I appreciate that. So this, like Reverend Vaughn said, this is we have 4 more Sundays in this space. And so I'm just asking everyone to put it in their prayers or their thoughts for a new space. Not describing it or whatever, but a new space. Like if you're driving around and you see a sign that says space for rent, let me know. I will go look. Believe me. And while we were here, I got a message from Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis, who's the senior minister at Center for Spiritual Living, which that's where I started, and what Reverend Vaughn started at, and Reva was there. And she asked if she wanted ministry prayer to pray for us for a new place.
Amen.
A new space.
Amen.
And I said, please.
Yeah.
Prayer is so powerful
Oh, thank you.
that when I worked at Boeing in Everett, I worked with this guy that was more to the, what do you call it?
Hard right Christian.
Yeah, there you go. And he said he was praying for me to find the right path or whatever. And I said, thank you. Prayer is welcome.
Amen.
What he thinks is the right path and what I think is the right path and what God thinks is the right path is totally different. So prayer, amen.
Amen.
And we're discussing this morning, normally on the third Sunday in March, we have our annual meeting. Right now, we don't really know what that's going to look like. Because if we don't find space to move into, by the end of next month, then we'll probably have to do Zoom. Which, that's okay. That's another way for a temporary fix. So,
And just so people understand, the annual meeting is just so that you understand what's happening with the financial ends of keeping this not-for-profit organization going.
Yeah.
So it's that we're open and disclosing that on an annual basis
Yeah.
rather than, well, I make donations and what the heck is happening.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the
Where do they
annual
go?
meeting is a way to look at what's been happening. It's also a way to look at the vision and the mission. It's where are we going, where do we want to go, what is inspiring us, and how do we advance ourselves. So that's the point of the annual meeting.
thank you. And another thing that I was going to say Reverend Stephanie, but go ahead. Said was, what was it here? Oh, about the books. They have these books for what they call dummies. And I was thinking, I think a better title may not sell, but books for beginners. I mean, it's so easy. So why dummy yourself? And so, let's see, what else was there here? If anybody wants to contribute to Northern Light Spiritual Center, you can either do it online through the website, we have a donate button, or we have a basket here. And I just want to thank everyone. I know I say this every week, but I mean it, because without you, we wouldn't be here. Without your support, not just a monetary, but your love, your caring, and your sharing of your presence. Because to me, that's what we're all about. It's about caring for each other, for sharing with each other, supporting each other in whatever way we can do. Not all of us can support in every way, but we each have our own perfect way of supporting someone else. And you have to remember to support yourself. Sometimes we forget that. And so I give thanks for that. I give thanks for Stephanie's talk today, for her energy, for her vibrance that just spills out all over. And let's take that energy and take it out into the world and create and help create a better world for people, for ourselves. And letting each and every person know in your life that they are loved, that they are supported, that they are cared for. I believe if that would happen around the world, that we wouldn't have the crap we're having today. So let us take that love that we are, because each of us are that love that God is, and step into the faith of God, not the faith in God, but the faith of God. For you have that faith. You are that faith. And so I give thanks, and I release it. Oh, I release this, and I let it go, and so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Hallelujah. All that good stuff.
I like it.
I like hallelujah there.